Ohio State's won 9 consecutive games against Wisconsin, but most of those have been pretty close affairs. Wisconsin typically plays the Buckeyes tough, but Ohio State gets the win. They go to Wisconsin coming off a game that they highly invested in against Penn State, a marquee matchup. And so there may be concern about a letdown. Primetime game at Wisconsin. The Badgers will be up for it, have lost their starting quarterback, Tanner Mordecai. So Ohio State's a 14.5-point favorite. The over-under is only 43.5 for this one, as Ohio State, more defensive team this year than they have been in the past. So your thoughts about this one, Steve?
Yeah, exactly. I think the total is telling you a lot here, right? That this is probably a live dog just due to the fact that it could be a low-scoring game. Whenever you get more than 2 touchdowns, that catches my eye because if they can hang with them. The concern, obviously, is if Ohio State gets out to a quick lead, if they get up by double digits. Not sure this Wisconsin, offense has enough punch to keep it close at that point. But you bring up the possible letdown, and it's, once again, we talk a lot about letdowns, and it's something that's probably a bit overrated. But it's not necessarily that Ohio State doesn't show up. It's just very hard to have your A game every week, week in and week out, especially when you're talking about 19 and 20-year-old kids. And then you take that on top of the fact you're coming off a high-profile home game and now having to travel. And let's keep in mind, we don't just need Ohio State to win this game. We need them to win by more than 2 touchdowns. So I would lean towards Wisconsin based on the situational setup, and I think they also qualify as a good defensive dog that can run the ball, control the clock, and keep this one within a couple scores.
Why don't we do this one, folks? Steve and I are headed off to record our Under the Radar selection. Steve provides that for us each and every week here at the Voice of College Football. And so you get that for being a Patreon member, or you're right here already. Just sign up right here on YouTube. You get the selection as a YouTube member here on the main channel. So you can do that right now. Steve, 17-4 for you guys that follow wagering at all, at any level. Just let that sink in. You understand how difficult that is. 17-4 against the spread since week 1 of 2022. And Steve, if you have a second, does anybody have another game? One other game we could hit real quick? Any other games that you would like to see us hit on? We'll give you a going once, going twice. Anybody else with a lot of great comments? We appreciate everyone being here. But any other comments on any other games you would like Steve to hit on? All right. Well, we appreciate you being here, everyone. And again, check out Steve's Under the Radar selection, exclusive here at the Voice of College Football. You can stay right here and sign up for the YouTube channel membership. And again, it's Wager Talk TV right here on YouTube, and it's wagertalk.com. Okay, we've got a request of Arizona, Oregon State. Steve's going to have to track that one down. I don't have it.
Yeah, we got Notre Dame too. I'll do that one first because I actually did a standalone video on that one on Wager Talk TV earlier this week. Notre Dame Pitt, and I like Notre Dame in this game. I actually used a free play on them on one of the shows also on Wager Talk. My math model favors them by 23. They have Clemson next week, but we talk about bye weeks a lot. I think the bye came at a perfect time for Notre Dame last week after those 4 games in a row against Ohio State, Duke, Louisville, the huge win against USC. And then Clemson on deck, you'd say, well, this is a terrible spot to be laying almost 3 touchdowns. But I think because Notre Dame had the bye last week, they're going to come to play here. And I like them at minus 20.5 or less, which is the current line. And one thing about Pittsburgh, they're 1-5 straight up in ATS, their last 6 since their opening win against Wofford. Their only winning cover during that span was against Louisville the week after Louisville had upset Notre Dame. So Pitt is really struggling right now. I think Notre Dame's the way to play that one. And the other one, the Arizona game, is an interesting game as well. That Pac-12's just been wide open this year. We talked about Oregon State being one of those ranked teams. It's played well at times. My math model on that one has a game at a pick'em. And currently Oregon State is a 3-point favorite, but I'm seeing a lot of 3.5s out there. So at 3.5 or more, I would start to say there's probably some line value with Arizona as I make the game a pick'em.
Arizona's straight-up record is not impressive, but if you look at their week-to-week results, they have played extremely well, took USC to triple overtime, close game against Washington, and then just annihilated Washington State inexplicably a couple weeks ago by 38 points. All right, Steve and I are off to record our Under the Radar selection, and you can get that as a Patreon member or right here on the YouTube channel. Just sign up right here for your YouTube membership. You get a ton of other benefits, but we'll just, hey, That's in and of itself enough. 17-4 against the spread. Appreciate everyone being here. And again, it's Steve Merrill at Wager Talk TV and wagertalk.com.